Coming up on this episode of Harvest Eating, the Spanish Tortilla. So folks, the Spanish tortilla or tortilla de patata is simple comfort food, basically like a thick omelet loaded with potatoes. Mine has a little twist, which you'll see. First step, get your russet potatoes scrubbed, peeled, cut into wedges like you see me doing here, and then just into little chunks like this. You don't want super uniformity. That is a Spanish onion, my friends. A small to medium-sized Spanish onion. You just want to cut off the top, like you see me doing there. Cut it in half, and simple slices will work just fine. However, I'd like to take those and break down the slices a little bit before we proceed, because you don't want stringy pieces in the final dish. So just run your knife through them a few times, just like that. Into the bowl they go. So once we have that procedure done, it is time to heat up some oil. And this is a light olive oil, and you can see there's a lot of it in there. Now I'm going to scent that oil with fresh thyme. Now thyme and potatoes are great friends. Once the oil is good and hot, in goes your onions. Now, here's the deal. It may take a little longer, it may take a little less on your stove. What you want to do is start to color those onions a bit. You don't want them to be burnt. You don't want them to be like they are just now. You want them to develop some flavor, and you'll cook those for about 5 to 7 minutes, or so the paper says. Once they're cooked, in go your potatoes. Very simple, just get them in there. Remember, that's very, very hot oil. Don't dump it in and splash it on yourself. Now you just want to get these potatoes in contact with the oil and start the frying process. And that's about how long mine took. Now, again, yours may differ with a different size pan, altitude, no altitude. So you just watch them when they start to look like they're getting a little golden brown in places. It's time to drain them. Now, for all of you that freaked out without all that oil, you just saw we drained 99% of it off. Now, this is the secret ingredient. Cute little can, huh? You can get these in most gourmet stores, and you need a half of a teaspoon, no more. This stuff is powerful. You want a very background flavor of that. You don't want the whole dish to taste like smoked paprika. So if you were to add a tablespoon, you would ruin it. Now, eggs. These are farm fresh eggs. These came from a friend of mine who has chickens running around in his backyard. That's the type you want to get. Remember, the eggs are a big component of this dish, so trying to get good quality eggs is key. I season it up with a little bit of Himalayan sea salt, freshly cracked black pepper, of course, and then in goes your smoked paprika. Now you want to whip it up. Whip it up fast. Who needs an electric beater, folks, when you can move this quick? And no, I didn't speed up the video in case you're thinking that. I'm just that quick. Okay, your drained potatoes, after they drain for a few minutes, they go into, and there's onions in there too, of course, they go into a mixing bowl. And then what you're going to do is pour over your eggs that have been kind of colored wonderfully by that beautiful paprika. Just mix this around. Now you want this to kind of sit happy for a few minutes. I like to just cover it up and maybe give it 15 or 20 minutes to rest. It'll thicken up slightly. Now take some of that same oil that you drained out, put it in your pan. I didn't clean the pan. That would be a waste of time. And then in goes the ingredients. Now you just want to start to get them into a flat shape. Season it up with salt and pepper. Remember, you want to season each layer. That way it tastes good. So salt, black pepper, and listen to the sizzle. Those cooking sounds are money. Now, this is the hard part, or the tricky part, flipping it. That's a big pan there. I didn't have a plate big enough to cover that pan, so I just used a sheet pan that was inverted and flip it over and then slide that sucker right back in. You want to brown up the underside, and then you're pretty much getting close to the point of serving this thing. So you just put it on a plate, and I like to serve this at room temperature, not hot. And it's very delicious. Now, if you use a pan a little smaller than I used, you'll have a thicker, taller tortilla. And that's probably better, but I just used a larger pan. That one was clean. That's what I used. But you see how it's a little thin? If you use a smaller pan, you'll have a thicker tortilla, which is a little more classic. So do keep that in mind. So you can see that you get a little color on the eggs. You've got some nice thick chunks of beautifully tender potatoes. And all in all, this is a wonderful dish. It's classic in Spain. You'll find it all over Spain, and it's just a great dish. And it's similar to the frittata in Italian. So if you like this, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Not season it. Cover it with plastic wrap in contact. Press the plastic wrap on it. Refrigerate it for a while, and then season it. Tastes a little better. But look at it. See how lovely that is? Beautiful for